Welcome to GreenBiz Studio. I'm Nathan Rajendran, Corporate Sustainability Manager here at GreenBiz, and I'm excited to be speaking with Juan Carlos Jintiach, Executive Secretary of the Global Alliance of Territorial Communities. Welcome, Juan Carlos. So excited to have you today.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, and congratulations on getting shortlisted for a Nobel Peace Prize. That's quite amazing. We have so many questions for you and are so excited to have you at Verge. So I'm going to kick us right off and ask you, you spend your time at the intersection of Indigenous peoples' rights and conservation, particularly to end tropical deforestation. Could you share more about why and how you got involved in that work?
I will speak on behalf of my people, Indigenous people from the Shuar territory, Indigenous people from the Amazon basin, um, particularly because when as Indigenous people we are connected with the nature, with the rainforest, and then with the leadership's organization. Somehow we have a relation and connections that we are organizing ourselves. And then we learn these processes from the leaders, from the women, from the elders, and the knowledge that the environmental or ecosystem where we live. So I'm very lucky and then to present myself and to speak on behalf of the leaders and the elders and with my responsibility right now to be Executive Secretary of the Global Alliance, Indigenous and Territory. Somehow from the beginning, with my leaders, all the time we listen to leaders, all the time we are communicating with the elders because the elders, they decide the politics, the elders, they decide the plans of life, the elders, they communicate the knowledge, the vision to the youth. So from the youth, I was a kid, I grew up from the rainforest. I have a very good relation with leaders and the elders and institutions. So that's is more from my beginning. And later, I was connected for other politic issues on the territories, politic issues with the local governments, also with the jurisdictional governments, and also with the national governments. In the beginning, I was growing up and learning all this process. So that particularly is I am very well related and connected with elders and the politics organizations in my own territory, in my own home, and also with other indigenous groups in the rainforest of my country.
You have such a strong focus on community and communicating with your elders and the women and just in bringing people to the table of Indigenous background. So that leads me to my next question. Can you share an example of the impact that bringing Indigenous people to the table and that focus has had in conservation efforts that you've worked with?
I think so it's important to understand that we as indigenous people, we have a huge challenge on the ground in our territories. Sometimes we need to be civilized. That's why we present our concerns. But all the time that we asking in the context about our rights. This is my fight. As indigenous people, we have rights as a human rights, indigenous people rights, local community rights, and also connected with the mother earth rights. So I always believe that the nature, the ecosystems, the biodiversity has a voice, has a feeling, has a right. That's one of my sentiments that I want to mention here, that all the time when I present my respect, the different arena, I present that if they are going to, if they don't know me, they need to understand me. I also ask respect, even that I don't know different other people. So that's why we need to have to respect some protocols with respect, and then we talk with transparency. And this is easy to mention that what is our petition as indigenous people. It's difficult sometimes to follow up, to understand all the petitions that we have, all the challenges that we have on the ground. But when you are welcome with respect and listen to available to open and to have this channel of dialogues that I always push in my own community and also in the countries, but I'm working Amazon basin in different areas in the global context, in the rainforest context. So always asking about talks and dialogue. And this is the way, and that's why we say, peace at all, we have rights as a human. We have indigenous people rights, collective rights for local communities. Also, we cannot forget about people are not contacted, isolated people. Actually, in this context, sometimes we don't need to forget no one. We cannot let no one on behalf.
Thank you. And my final question for you is, one ways that companies engage in reforestation is through high quality carbon credits. What are some of the key highlights provided in the Tropical Forest Credit Integrity Guide for companies to do this well?
Thank you for this question. It's very important for us as indigenous people, organizations, as a group of indigenous people that to learn and to participate from the beginning. That's why we ask free for consent, full and effective participation in any instruments that we develop. That is the way how we can combine our knowledge, how we can learn other information from outside and to collaborate. The collaboration in this context, but participating or to give it some guidance of TCI and also to mention about the carbon credits. We cannot just only speak about carbon. We need to make sure that carbon is part of this ecosystem area or this rainforest part area. But for us, the people need to understand, and this is something that I really push, that we are part of this ecosystem as a human being. Indigenous people, we are connected in a holistic way. So that is why intercultural, cosmovision, different language, different groups, we need to connect with this challenge about these new concepts, right? I mean, carbon or ecosystem services, et cetera, et cetera. But climate solutions cannot be only with different names or topics. Climate solution is with us, with people who are in the front line. That is why we want to learn these processes, connect with this process, and connect with these instruments. And then also reflect that for us it's very good to mention that we need to say that HLD, as a how high forest, low deforestation are in our territories. So that is why it's very important to combine and to learn each other.
Absolutely. And I think that you left us on the perfect note to end with, which is sustainability solutions are holistic and really do start and are rooted in the people and cannot be siloed to just focusing on carbon removal or reforestation. It's all connected and intersectional. So I really appreciate you being here with us, Juan Carlos. And to our audience, again, you just heard from Juan Carlos Jintiach. Who is the executive secretary of the Global Alliance of Territorial Communities and is doing great work to uplift the voices and the action of Indigenous communities. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Green Biz Studio.
Thank you. With my pleasure.